work and you don't know how to deal with this.
Practices that can help you quickly recover. Breathe out completely from the left side. Place your hands on your head and stretch the spine up. Bend your knees and just lift your hips up and down.
Hi guys, today we want to share with you some tips in case if you feel stressed or you have a lot of work and you don't know how to deal with this. So Sharath, can you tell us some tips that we can help our Web3 community and community of startups?
Definitely. The most biggest challenge is finding time to do practices that can help you quickly recover from the stresses that work can give you. And in that, I think the most effective one is Pranayama practice, which is called as Anulom Vilom, also known as Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama, alternate nostril breathing. And it's a very simple practice. You can even just be doing it at your seat while traveling or even just before you go to bed to get better sleep. And you just need your fingers and your nose and the air to breathe with it, right? Let's try it once.
Yeah.
You use your right hand and folding the index and middle finger into the palm. Use the right hand thumb for the right nostril, gently pressing it. Breathe out completely from the left side. And then slowly you inhale from the left. You close and exhale from the right. And again you inhale from the right. You close and you exhale from the left. So that completes one cycle. So doing about 5 to 10 cycles of Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama should give you a quick and mindful relaxation while also being able to calm yourself down.
I love this one. I like to practice this one very often and always tell to my friends. So share some tips about burnout, because now it's bull market, everyone is keep working and it's like just so much work. And sometimes we need some time for ourselves to stop, to relax. Can you share some tips?
Yeah, definitely. Anything that kind of constantly gives you pressure, maybe work, maybe anything, is always putting you at a burnout situation where you cannot perform to the best. And psychologically, when we are in that situation, all we want to do is just take a break or just shout or just do something in a way that can release that energy out. And in yoga, when you see the most effective way to convert a non-positive energy to a positive energy, it's through sound, right? And there is a very effective pranayama called as Brahmari Pranayama, where we can use all that stored energy and convert it into positivity, right? And how do you do it? It's very, very simple. You don't even need your hands for this one. You can try it with both, but let's just try it. You just take a deep breath in and make a very loud and long humming sound. Yeah, let's try. Feels good, doesn't it?
It's
right?
so nice.
And that's just one round of it. And if you want to do about 10 rounds of it with your eyes closed, probably just closing your ears to mute out the sound from around, it gives a much more meditative effect. And after that, just maintain a few moments of silence and you'll see how your mind is completely rejuvenated and can get you back to work.
When it's best to do in the morning, evening, or during meetings?
So anytime that you feel, stressed, where you feel anxious, where you feel low on energy, those are the best times to do it, right? Or when you feel too tired as well, it's a place to boost up your energy. And it's a universal practice. It can be done by anybody also, yes? By children, by adults, by anybody it can practice. And if you observe the sound, the resonance, it happens around the head region. So there's also a very gentle massaging effect that it gives to your head. So anytime you feel stressed or anytime you feel low on energy, you can just plug and play and that'll get your mood back up.
And how much time? It's 10-15 minutes or more?
So rather than considering it on time, it's better to consider it on the number of repetitions. Because, for example, I can do the sound for about 15 seconds, whereas you can do it for maybe 20 seconds. So rather than choosing on time, it would be better by doing the repetitions. So maybe 5 times or 10 times per individual should be good. And let's say if your sound is being produced more than 15 seconds, it signifies that you have healthy and strong lungs.
So, I know a lot of founders from Web3 space, from in general startups, and they feel a lot of stress, especially after a long day and just to switch off brain, mind or whatever. They used to go, let's say, fighting, drinking, smoking or whatever. But yoga can give much more and better tools and more healthy. What can you recommend for them?
Absolutely. I think it's very important for leaders to find that time to disconnect from work, because that's when the mind gets refreshed and they can get better ideas, better way of working and so on. And the conventional way is, like you mentioned, distract yourself with, not the most healthiest habits. But nonetheless, a lot of other people also choose, let's say, going for a run, going to the gym, or doing a yoga class, or going for a swim and so on. But nonetheless, what I would want to highlight about yoga is that it is accessible anytime. You can even do it in your own office cabin, right? All you need is a space to just roll out your mat, comfortable clothing. And practices of yoga don't just work on the mind. You can do asanas for the body, maybe just a few rounds of Surya Namaskara. That will completely relax your body. And then you can do a little bit of breathing exercises to bring you back on a strong energy level. And for mind, you can do a little bit of relaxation techniques, some yoga nidra or some meditation practices. So in this way, let's just compare it with, let's say, intoxicating yourself. What are you trying to do there? It is trying to delude the mind or to delude your senses. You're using a same apparatus, but for the different purpose, right? You're using the mind. Here you're using alcohol, but here you're using your breath. And here also there are different means, maybe food. And here you're using your body and so on, right? Both of it works on diverting the mind, but which is a healthier option is something that you should choose from.
Discuss more about creativity, because you're working in this startup space and it's all about being authentic and creating something new. And what I notice, when I feel relaxed, when I do yoga, I have more ideas for my business and feel more balance. If you can share some tools for founders that they can use in daily life.
Definitely. In a one-word answer, yoga to help creativity, I would say practices like yoga nidra can help you. Practices of visualization can help you. Practices that include any relaxation or meditative techniques which include visualizations will definitely be a boost to your creativity. But more importantly, where do we get our creativity from? It's mainly from the mind, or what we can categorize anatomically as the brain, right? And the brain has both the right and left side, each of it responsible for creativity and logic, right? As adults, as we grow up, we only focus on more of the logical mind, and we tend to forget the creative mind as we age, right? But if you see children, they are so creative, they are so innovative in nature. When you do yoga practices, let's say like asanas, specifically balancing asanas, twisting postures, what happens in the nervous system is that it stimulates both the sides of the brain. So definitely consistent asana practice can definitely boost your creativity. Alongside with that, accompanied with good relaxation and yoga nidra techniques, visualization techniques. And recently, I even found out by listening, to the mythological stories, by listening to hymns, you can activate and trigger your creative factor. For example, if I have to give you, we've never seen a flying carpet, but because of the story of Aladdin, we know that a carpet can fly. So you know how we are able to relate stories to creativity? So in that way, listening to stories of mythology may also help you activate your creative factor.
Nice. And what do you think about Jalaneti and Sutraneti?
Yeah.
Will it help?
Jalaneti and Sutraneti are mainly cleansing techniques. Of course, it can activate the chakras which are emphasized on visualization, especially the eye chakra, the Agnya chakra, which is the third eye chakra, which is mainly for the intuitive nature and the visualization. But it does not have a direct effect on the mind as such for improving creativity. But it can be something that supplements to help improve your creativity. So when you do those practices of Jalaneti, it's mainly cleansing techniques. So what you do physically will also have a mental effect. So maybe you have a thought, but after you do a Jalaneti practice, maybe the thought is much more clear or much more sharper. So this is how those practices would help you sharpen your thought.
I heard this question a lot from founders and even job seekers, how we can balance our life, when you have a lot of work and also you need to have personal life.
This is a very complicated equation, right? When we look at it from the yogic perspective, one of the most important definitions of yoga that comes from the Bhagavad Gita is samatvam yoga uchyate, which means equanimity at all times. And how do you attain that equanimity is another definition of yoga where we identify it as yogaha karmasu kausalam, which means skill in every action. Now, we cannot run away from the responsibilities and the commitments that we have, either personally or professionally. But what we can do is do it better, do it more efficiently in order to be able to achieve all the goals that we have both in our secular life and in our spiritual life if we are intended towards that inclination. A lot of us, kind of like put lists of things or items on, one below the other. But how I would want to see it is put one next to each other, right? Instead of making it vertical in nature, make it more horizontal. So your personal life, your work life, your spiritual life, everything should go hand in hand. And there must be a way of planning your day in such a way that you can dedicate enough time for all of this. And there is scriptures from yoga and Ayurveda that tell us how we need to plan our daily routine. It is called as dinacharya. What time we have to wake up, what time we have to eat, sleep, work, and so on. Same thing with the seasons as well. What kind of activities we need to do in the summertime, when do we have to go to vacation. Like this, there's a lot of deep context that is embedded in the Indian history scriptures as well. But along with that, an easy hack to be able to quickly find that balance between work and yourself is that you cannot disconnect yourself from work completely, but work can disconnect itself from you, right? So take some time off, spend some time in solitude, and get that time away from your space, maybe as an individual or as a group, right? Because most of us, we do tend to encounter the same problems, the same challenges at work especially, right? So either doing it in a collective way or in an individualistic way, maybe stepping out of work, maybe working from home one day a week. In this way, disconnecting yourself from at least the physical space of your work while you're able to still contribute towards what your demands are at the organization.
Nice. I like this concept of Dincharya. Especially I read a lot from Dr. Vasant, like the most respected and well-known Ayurveda doctor. If you guys would like, you can go to YouTube and check. He's talking very nice stuff about the schedule, how you can manage your life, etc.
That's right.
I want to discuss some part about, let's say now is bull market. Everyone is trying to raise capital. They are talking to investors in person or on calls. But sometimes you feel very nervous. Maybe even if your startup is amazing, but you will be not able to present in good way. Can you share some tips how with yogic practice they can achieve better results?
Definitely. And we're constantly put into these changes in situation. One second we are, doing something that we like, maybe having a cup of coffee, and next moment we have to go present in front of some big investors. How do we handle such a change in situation? Well, in yoga, there's a very, very important passage or a key, if I may, to be able to handle such situations. See, when, let's say, we're encountering that moment where just have to go into the room or start my presentation. And if you observe yourself, you'll be either taking a deep breath in or breathing out completely, right? So what does that signify? It basically goes to tell that your breath changes in every situation. Your breath would have been different when you were sipping your coffee, and your breath is very different when you're in front of your investor. That if we just reverse engineer it and we try to understand that breath changes in every situation, right? And if you reverse engineer that, if you control your breath, you are in control of the situation, right? So just by doing a little bit of breathing exercises before your meeting, just by sitting back on a chair, inhaling for 5 seconds, exhaling for 5 seconds, this is the easiest way you can bring control over any situation, right? Another example could be, let's say you're holding something really heavy in your hand, and the moment you drop it, what do you feel? You breathe out, situation has changed. You're crossing the road, suddenly a vehicle passes. You hold your breath, situation has changed. Same way. And how do you make the situation normal? By taking a deep breath in and out again. So that's the easiest way to break down your nervousness.
And what kind of pranayams they can try, like breathing exercise?
Any pranayama that you do has the goal of slowing down the breath. So any pranayama, may it be Nadi Shuddhi pranayama, Brahmari pranayama, or yogic breathing, anything will definitely facilitate in reducing the anxiety or the stress before such challenging situations. I would definitely recommend multiple rounds of Nadi Shuddhi accompanied with Brahmari, the two most effective ones.
And should I drink more water or coffee or tea?
Hydration is one of the most important things. And of course, that is again another way to kind of like trick your mind to giving it a signal that everything is under control. Because the moment you face a challenging situation or a threat, the first thing that happens is your mouth becomes dry. And by drinking water, by keeping your mouth moist, or just by keeping some level of, attention towards this region, it kind of tricks the mind that, okay, everything is still, and calm. Yes?
Also, question from me, because I like chocolate a lot. Is there any food to avoid before meetings? Say if you have a lot of sugar, you're like a lot of energy, can play different role.
I think, I'm not the best person to give you that hint, but nonetheless, I think you should be eating comforting food. You shouldn't be feeling too, gaseous or too, wanting to reach to the restroom. So in that sense, something that's very comforting, that's, like your home food or something that you really, really are comfortable eating with. So that kind of like keeps, your body in functionality, right? So that would be the best suggestion. But I will definitely see if there are foods that can help you reduce your anxiety or your nervousness. Yeah, but I think, most of us tend to reach out to that extra set of food most of the time when we are stressed to divert our mind. Yes, we can use that same mechanism to even control the mind. Yeah, in that sense.
Nice. So I want to ask you some question regarding, pain in this zone, neck pain. Because people, they work a lot. I like to work like 10, 12 hours. And I noticed that after some time, you sit like this. How we can solve this problem? Like maybe some exercises that we can practice daily?
Definitely. So the reason why you are experiencing that pain is because most of the physical stress gets accumulated in the joints of the body. And most of the joints, helping us in mobility and posture. And the moment they get fatigued or the moment they get stressed, they tend to start giving you discomfort or pain. And when that slowly becomes more, it becomes aggravated into more complex conditions. And the easiest way to overcome such situation, whether it is a minor pain while you're working or, a consistent way to avoid getting such conditions, is by doing some simple joint mobility exercises, what we call in yoga as Sukshma Vyayama practice or as the Shakti Vikasaka practice. Even though the names are different, practices would be very similar. So if you're looking for the neck region, just practice as I tell you. Just look up once, look down, chin to your chest, repeat it again, look up all the way, down again, look up and down. So this is one thing you can do. You can do the different movement. You can look to the right and to the left, all the way, stretching the chin to the shoulder.
And what should we do with the breath?
Just keep breathing normally as much as you can. Don't hold your breath. The breath will naturally sink itself up. You can also do another movement where you're tilting the neck ear to shoulder on the right and to the left. So on both sides, while breathing normally, you can do these 3 practices to ensure there is no stress around the neck. To give a little more comfort, you can also do a little bit of shrugs. Just pull your shoulders up and release it back down.
This feels so nice.
And very fun, right?
I remember I had some time when I was turning my neck like this, and pain was like from one side, from another side. It was very strange. It happened for the first time.
So the main reason is because of the asymmetry of the body. Let's say when we're using our phone, we generally tend to use it with one hand, with one side of the head tilted to the other side. So the other side gets completely fatigued. So to neutralize that or to balance that out by doing, same movements on both sides helps kind of like neutralize and nullify that effect. And like I told earlier, the postures do get affected because of the stresses the joints go through.
I can be like, let's say if I'm using my phone, I feel some stress. Let's say someone texted, I don't know, client, and I'm in this posture and, muscles, something happened with muscles. Can it be the reason?
Definitely. So most of the physical stress is because of the mental stress, right? Now, what happens to the physical body when the mind becomes stressed? If I have to physically represent tension or stress, what would it be? It would be tightness, right? Now, imagine your brain or your mind has become tight and it is a part of the body, right? So it will spread itself. Maybe it will start with a stiff neck, maybe, headaches, and then slowly it will start to affect different parts of the body. Like we have learned in earlier sessions as well, reverse engineer it. So by controlling the joint, you're controlled. By loosening the joint, you're loosening the mind. You're making it less stressed. So in that way, it's almost like a reverse cycle, a reverse engineering technique. And even while doing those movements, doing it very slowly, looking at it, lift up, down, instead of just doing it mechanically, So watching it. So that way what happens, the mind kind of separates itself from the body in that mechanical movement. Yeah.
Nice. But let's talk about back pain.
Back pain, yeah.
What can we do with this?
Yeah. See, back pain mainly comes because, again, of multiple reasons. Mental stress, wrong posture, and other such unmindful activities that we do. And the worst part about back pain is that it may start very slowly, but it may end up being something extremely serious if neglected. And the easiest way to do any back, to get rid of any kind of back pain or back discomfort is by doing simple spinal movements. So, back, spine, it's almost a part of the same upper body, right? And this upper body can move in different directions, right? Yes, it can twist. Yes. What else can you do? What else can you do with the spine? Yes, you can tilt it. You can bend forward. You can, yeah.
This side.
So just by doing these basic movements, the spine moves in 6 different directions. Just try with me. Place your hands on your head and stretch the spine up and down again and up again and down again. So this is number 1, right? The second one, you can just open your hands out and just go on the right side bend, on the left side bend. Yes, you can do it one more time. Yes, on the left.
It feels so good.
Yeah. And the next one you can do is a simple twisting, hands up, and from there on the right side, and going on to the opposite side, just twisting gently on both sides. Okay. And then you can do another one, just raise the hands up, bend forwards, bend down, come up again, bend forward, and come up. This is the 4th one. Of course, there are 2 more left, but those are a little more challenging to do while sitting. You can probably try it while lying down. You want to try it? Lie down on your back, bend your knees, and just lift your hips up and down. This is like a backward bend, yes? And down, okay? Good. You lift up and hold there. This is also a good position to help you relieve your lower back pain, almost like you can sleep like that, almost like a upside down position. Great. So yes, so these are the simple practices that you can do, but with, proper breathing to be able to get rid of any lower back tension or lower back discomfort and continue with your work.
I am ready to dance and work. I want to discuss some part about gratitude. Like few years ago, what I have now, it was my gym, but now I'm so busy with work and maybe I have less gratitude and I feel more stress. So how we can reconnect with ourselves and feel more grateful?
See, as we grow in whatever avenues that we are, as you mentioned, we tend to become more and more busy, where we tends to kind of like bite into the space that we have for ourselves, our practice, our prayers, and so on. I had a similar challenge earlier also. And the easiest way that I feel, let's say even if you cannot do a full 1-hour yoga practice, or if you cannot do a full 1-hour meditation or go to the gym, what I did was, in those hectic times, I would just go to my yoga mat, touch my yoga mat, and continue with my day. So that became a kind of like my practice. Even though I'm not able to do a full 60-minute practice, I'd at least go and touch my yoga mat. So what you need to kind of align mentally is be able to dedicate that energy and that effort towards at least doing it for 1 minute a day. It doesn't have to be 1 hour or 2 hours. Even 1 minute, if you're able to just sit and do some practice, that itself is an easy way to keep this consistently going, right? But apart from that, practice-wise, if you see, the easiest thing to do is focus and defocus. You keep your focus on something, maybe your work for some time. And after some time, maybe think about your family. Maybe think about the next goal, what you have. In that way, this practice of connecting and reconnecting will help you keep yourself in the right way.
And what do you think about some practices, let's say in park, close to nature? What can we do?
Definitely. The easiest way to reconnect with the self is to spend time in nature, going for a walk, hugging trees, spending time, let's say in spiritual centers or attending lectures, whatever can make you feel good. Maybe cleaning the street, maybe feeding a dog, anything that can help you make your peace within. Yes?
Yeah, nice one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.